What's going on, people? Hope you are all well. It is that time again for a build vlog. This one, I absolutely love the way that this build has come out. It's very special. Again, not a car that you can get hold of, and if you do get hold of one, you are very, very lucky. So let's check it out. Here we go. So this is the next build in. As mentioned, I've kind of started this vlog partway through doing a strip down on it. So we've got a camper van in. These are quite a hard ride-on car to get hold of. It is previously owned, so there is slight surface damage and scratches, as we can see here. But there's quite a big build spec for this. We're going to do a full respray top and bottom, so it will be still keeping the two-tone effect. You can try and sort out some slightly bigger wheels to change the wheels, as the standard ones are actually quite small. Interior will also be resprayed to match. I'm going to do a textured wrap dash. I'm going to put a voltmeter in the speedo or in the little clock over here. I'm going to do a full seat retrim with D-Class automotive. I'm going to satin black the bumpers front and rear. I'm going to change the lights. Full parental control upgrade on this one. They did do a parental control version, but unfortunately this one isn't, so I'll be retrofitting parental controls and yeah, loads of other bits and pieces. So here we go. So it is fully stripped. Bottom half, obviously I'm going to be sorting out to lower it. So I've just taken the top half off, which, as we can see, is all laid out on the floor. I've also taken the steering wheel off. The plan with the steering wheel, I've just had a look at this. As we can see, where it's been pre-owned, there are scuffs on it. So I'm going to strip this steering wheel down and also give this to Josh to get resprayed, or I might have it trimmed, unsure yet. Might speak to D-Class to see if they could do like a mini steering wheel cover. So next bit would be obviously stripping out the loom, as we can see, because I won't be using any of this, and then sorting out the lowering. I'm actually going to use a donor vehicle for all the electrics, because then that way I've got everything ready to go. And yeah, so we're down on the floor. As we can see, it's all stripped out. I've got de-sticker the windows, so that it is fully ready for paint. And yeah, we're going to crack on. So here we go. Time to de-sticker the windows all round. Here we go. So this is actually going to be the donor car. This was purchased through Rico, who I get Revive range cars from. The spec itself on this, axle wise, matches what is on the camper. So we've got 10mm axles front and rear, 12 volt, full parental controls. So the idea is to take all the electrics off of this car and then fit to this. The main reason I'm using this is that there is slight scuffs in the bodywork, and we can see a moulding issue here. I have got another couple of cars coming in, so I might make another little wild car out of this one, so it won't necessarily go to waste completely. So we're going to be using the wheels and full parental controls. Hopefully try and get the music player out of this one to fit the dash on that one. So yeah, here we go. So we can see the rears are now lowered. Done a 30mm drop on the rear, so we keep it still nice and tucked, and it is going to be level all the way around. I've got the fronts to do. I started with the rears first, mainly because there's a little bit more difficulty in the rear compared to the fronts. Notice as well that what I've done is I've had to cut out the bodywork to allow for the twin motor setup, and obviously it's 12 volt now. I could have flipped the motors the opposite way and cut this section out, but I still need a space for the battery. So what I'm going to do with this setup, I'm going to run another piece of plastic that will run all the way around, across, down. I might do this in one piece and then this in another section here. So yeah, it's a lot of trial and error with this, especially with the tubbing. Obviously I'm going to neaten up these edges. I'll take this one round a little bit more here, so it just does fully clear the rear wheels. But I'm very happy with how this is turning out. So here we go. So we saw I'd mentioned about the tubbing of the rear, where the wheels are and on the motors. What I've done, I've had a scrap car kicking around that I've used for parts. I've actually cut this section out, as we can see, and it is this piece here. So it's now going to be a case of using this to fit in this section. Obviously it will be painted. So yeah, here we go. It's going to be a lot of customization with this camper. So here we go. So obviously, as mentioned in the previous clip, the plan was to use bits I cut out from that. Didn't go as well as what I thought it would. Just the shape is completely different. I thought, oh yeah, just adapt it. But again, didn't work. So I had to assess the situation and come up with a right idea. And this is it. So I've actually fabricated some little tubs here. Just using plastic, as we saw in the time lapse. Measuring, I've got another sheet to do, which I've measured exactly the same, and then I'll finalize the cutting. And obviously this screwed in, and then it will be painted with the rest of the car. And then the next one will be to do for the motors here. So it does actually flow. Again, I've cut it to the curvature of the door as well. And yeah, I'm happy with the way that's turned out. Obviously, once I've sanded it down, and then it'll be a case of fitting the seat and then cutting out where it's going to hit on the seat, because obviously it won't be a flush fit now that I've made this adaptation, because obviously this isn't meant to be lowered like this, and it's not meant to have these much deeper wheels, because they are different wheels. So yeah, I'm happy with that. So it's on to the next bits. Here we go. So from that previous time lapse, I was working more on the rear. Got the seat fitted now. Just obviously cut this out to allow for the seat to actually sit down due to the tub, which is here. So if I take the seat out, we can see what I've done. Obviously both sides are now done. I've shaped these a lot better to follow the curvature of the wheel, and we've got the motor coverings here. Now we'll be running a bead of silicone along this panel, and I'm going to leave these as they are. Obviously it will all be painted, but I thought leave this so that it could be unscrewed and removed if anything gets trapped behind it or whatnot. So that is that bit. So next bit is now for working on the front. Here we go. So this is what I've done with the dash. So here's a quick clip of how it looked and the part that I was going to fit. So here it comes now. And this is where we're at. So we can see that I've inserted this piece of trim, which will go here. And there will be an original piece of trim here, which we drilled out, so the voltmeter is going to go through it, and then I'll utilize these bits here. I might use the original trim this here, which I think is like a fake clock or a little compass. Again, I might utilize that or see if there's anything else. I know I've got to fit a couple of switches. So yeah, I'm now going to wrap this in a textured material, which is what I've used on Arlo's Lamborghini. So I might be able to do it in one piece. If not, I'll do it in sections so it looks smart. And here we go. So this is the final outcome of the dash. I've had to do this in one piece goes across here, got another piece. Obviously, due to the intricacy of this, it's not like obviously working on something quite large, so there are quite a few pieces to make this up. Tried to keep the overlaps as invisible as possible. As you can appreciate, it is a kids car dash. This is not meant to happen with them. I do like the way that this has turned out and kept it all smooth. Again, there are trims that will be going in these sections again, but yeah, there we go, a textured dash as we can see along the top there, and then this hooks in behind the front panel of the rest of the car. So next up, what we got is the original light. Obviously I've taken the lens out and the original bulb holder, and these are the brighter LEDs. I thought that they was circular. Obviously they've got this plastic surround on, which isn't an issue, mainly because I've already done one light as they are and I've stripped the light down. So these are very bright. When I hooked them up to the battery to check the light, stupidly enough I had it shining in my face and nearly blinded myself. So what I'm now going to do is going to strip this light down. I'm going to use the actual internal LEDs and this lens here, and then mount it into here. I'm going to keep this section chrome. Once it's all mounted, going to mask everything up and then do this outer section black, just again so it goes with the rest of the car, with the dechrome aspects. Here we go. So we saw the dash was originally wrapped. I've changed my mind and I've actually sprayed it a textured paint. You've got your buttons here, push buttons. So this one will be like for daytime running lights, and then this one will be for normal lights. Got the Lamborghini head unit there, and obviously a voltmeter in the middle, and kept with a classic compass which was originally on this dash. I love the way that this looks. It's so much better. Obviously adds that classic look. So that is the dash done. So got the camper back from paint from Josh at JD Autos. Please go and check him out on Instagram. And the colour is phenomenal. So on the bottom half, we've got the Toyota Igo reddish purple with a blue pearl on the top. And the top half, we've got a gloss white with the same pearl on the top. And you can't really see it in the video, unfortunately, but you can see the glistening in the pearl. It is wicked. So I'm now going to build the car up, get the electrics in, and yeah, the car will be taking shape a lot more. So here we go. So this is where we're at so far. Doors are on, and battery is just roughly in, and I've been running the loom through. Obviously been a bit tricky because the loom that I'm using isn't for this car, so what I've had to do is parts of it I've had to extend, mainly because the length of the camper itself. We've got a dashboard in, obviously you've got the Lamborghini part here, and then my two separate switches are here with the voltmeter. Got a gear lever in. The gear lever that I had for this car was just like a hold switch, so I've swapped it out for a constant on switch if you're putting it in drive and then reverse. Before, the switch that I had, you'd have to press and hold it. So sorted on that front. I'm going to hook the battery up, which we've got on there, and if I press and hold the on button, we can see the dash does in fact light up. Gonna go round to the front, and we have some daytime running lights. Again, this is, I've hooked them up. I was originally gonna wire them on a separate switch, and I've done something now cool with the headlights. So we've got some bright bulbs in there and something a little bit different just to add to the uniqueness of this car itself. So if I press the light switch button, which is here, it does in fact make the headlight, the daytime running lights or amber lights, flash, press it again, and they will switch off. They automatically come on as soon as the car is turned on. Next thing is to wire up my switches here. So we're going to have a main beam and another little switch here, which again will become very clear once it's all wired up. There's also going to be an ignition switch here, so the key has to be in and turned before you can actually turn the car on. I've done this mainly because I'm running an extra loom, and because of the type of vehicle, I just wanted to have it so that a child could get in it. If it's put on show, then it can't just be turn on and off they go. They would have to have the key to start the car. The motors are in, fully functionable. The steering column is in, fully functioning. The next bit is to sort the pedal out, wire up the voltmeter, and basically secure every piece. Then satin black the windows. We've got the bumpers to go on, wire up the rear lights, which will also come on automatically as soon as the car is turned on, and then it is pretty much ready and done. So I'm going to crack on, so here we go. So this is where we're at. We've got the front end on, steering wheel is in. What I've done is I've fitted a brand new Volkswagen style badge on the top there. We've now got key ignition, so I'm going to switch this on. I've got a cover for here, so it looks really nice with the Static Youth logo in. We've got the voltmeter hooked up, as we can see here. We're going to switch the car on. I'm gonna flick it in drive, and we have full motors front and rear, and then we have the remote. So obviously when this come in, it was full 6 volt, no parental controls whatsoever. I've converted it to 12 volt, so have forwards, all 4 3 speeds, as we can see, speed settings, and we have the steering. So the steering is all hooked up. Really nice setup with this. What I managed to do is there's no excessive steering, so there's a slight bit of play in the steering before it actually kicks in, but I absolutely love it. And we've got the rear lights as well, all hooked up. Rear bumper is fitted. So now it's a case of lining the windows, fitting the side trims on, which go here. I'm going to redo them. They are chrome, but I'm going to redo them black, maybe even carbon. I've been toying with the idea of doing a carbon stripe, which I think would look really nice. Obviously the front windows to do, and then we've got to do this Static Youth branding and the company branding on it as well. And that is where we are at. Here we go. So this is where we're at with the camper van. Paint sick, the wheels are on, and now we've got obviously all the bumper trims are on. Just waiting on the seat to come back from D-Class, which I'm super excited to see. I'm now going to lay down the decal on the door for the client branding, as they own their own business. And so here we go. Let's get to it. And here is the finished product of the camper van. Again, a sick paint job by JD Autos. We've got the small Static Youth branding on the front, the Camper Lab decal on the rear, which is the company. If you go around the top, I cannot believe the work that D-Class has done on this seat. The attention to detail is phenomenal, as always. Going to go round to the rear. Again, got a Static Youth branding. Number plates done by Josh and Lisa Creations. And just absolutely love the way this build has turned out. So here is another little video. Here we go. And that is this build vlog done. I hope you enjoyed the process of this awesome camper build. I want to say a massive shout out to Gary at the Camper Lab for entrusting me to do this build for him. Also, don't forget Josh and Lisa Creations for obviously the sick number plates, JD Autos for the ridiculous paint job, and not forgetting D-Class Automotive for the phenomenal seat retrim. Like, all of it just blows my mind. It's one of my favorite builds that I've done so far. Again, make sure you keep up to date with what's going on here at Static Youth by checking us out on Instagram and Facebook. We are also on TikTok, and don't forget to hit that like, share and subscribe on our YouTube and all of the others mentioned above. Until next time, peace.